Moscow has accused NATO of playing a proxy war with Russia and reminded about a possible nuclear war.
The statement came as Russian Foreign Minister Sergey Lavrov has accused NATO of being engaged in a proxy war with Russia. In a televised interview on Monday, Lavrov said foreign weapons shipped to Ukraine by the West are fair game for Russian military. Lavrov said NATO is essentially engaged in a war with Russia through a proxy and arms this proxy. Russia's top diplomat also once again reminded of the dangers of a nuclear war. But in fact, in the past few days, Russia has launched Sarmat and Kalibr missiles, which is capable to carry nuclear warheads.
Раздувались, а желающих таких немало. Опасность серьезная, она реальна, ее не случай.
London denies what Moscow has claimed as NATO's proxy war. Moscow's claim that Western allies could be provoking a wider conflict by supplying Ukraine with weapons was dismissed as nonsense by UK Armed Forces Minister James Heappey.
James says noise from Moscow about somehow their attack on Ukraine being a response to NATO aggression is just utter nonsense.
Lavrov might also reflect that the reason that there is a war in Ukraine right now is because Russia rolled over the borders of a sovereign country and started to invade their territory. NATO is not an expansionist offensive alliance. NATO is a defensive alliance. And all of this noise from Moscow about somehow their attack on Ukraine being a response to NATO aggression is just utter nonsense.
Weeks after bombarding Mariupol with heavy artillery, Russia's defense ministry announced a ceasefire near the Azovstal plant in Mariupol for safe evacuations of civilians living there.
Russia's defense ministry said in a statement from 2 p.m. Moscow time on April 25th, Russian troops and Donetsk will unilaterally cease all hostilities to ensure the safe evacuation of the specified category of civilians, including workers, women and children. But on the same day, Ukraine's Deputy Prime Minister Irina Vereshchuk said on social media the two countries had not reached an agreement on humanitarian evacuations from Mariupol. Vereshchuk said both countries should agree the humanitarian corridor opens. A corridor announced unilaterally does not provide security and therefore is not a humanitarian corridor. Ukraine's government said evacuations from the frontline neighborhood of Kharkiv continued as 9 people were injured and 5 killed by Russian shelling in the region. Speaking next to a partly destroyed building, a Ukrainian serviceman accused Russian forces of genocide in their shelling. He also said that after making huge destruction of civilian infrastructures, Russia did everything to scare people and create panic. Kharkiv has suffered heavy shelling since the conflict began, and volunteers have been working to help evacuate people from the city.